Play Reflog Show is brought to you by ShackNews.com. Shack News is the place to be for all your gaming news, guides, walkthroughs, and reviews. Like their featured article, It's Dangerous to Go Alone, 35 Years of The Legend of Zelda. And don't forget to check out their brand new Shack News Reader. The reader will allow you to create a personalized feed of all your favorite YouTube channels, websites, and subreddits. All this pairs perfectly with their Shack News Cortex, where you can post your own articles and get involved in the gaming community right on their site. From video game tournaments to Twitch streams, they do it all at Shack News. And speaking of Twitch streams, be sure to subscribe to their channel on Twitch to see the newest games as well as some great throwbacks. So if you're a gamer, Shack News is the site for you. Check them out on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch at the handle @ShackNews and @ShackNews.com.
Okay, do you need medical attention?
Yeah.
What is wrong?
I don't know. I ain't no goddamn doctor.
Cut back by Chubb. He's to the 10. He's still running to the 5. He dips outside left. He's doing it. Touchdown. Swing and drive. To the left. Away. Back to goal. Reflog. It's tough goal for backward. Boom shakalaka.
Welcome to the Big Play Reflog Show. Today is Monday, February 22nd, 2021. I am your host, Big Play Dave, alongside the man, the myth, the legend, the coach, Mr. Chris McNeil. How are you, sir? Hey, I'm the coach of a no longer winless basketball team, too. My son's fourth grade team that I was coaching, we were 0-9, won our last game. I've gotten dangerously close to Hugh Jackson now in several seasons being a coach, but haven't quite pulled the over so far. Thank God we won on Saturday. Big win for Granville. Well done, well done. And Mr. Nick Padone, welcome back, sir.
Hey, what's up, guys? Chris, congrats on the first big win.
Thank you. We needed it badly. You avoided the 0-10 streak of the Cavs. Ouch. What if they're looking for a coach? Yeah, there you go. Who knows? Ask Twitter. I'm sure they'll tell you. Tonight,
upwards,
about halfway through the season. That's about the time we get a coach
Oh,
decides
yeah.
he wants to leave, right?
Chris, fail upwards.
Yeah, fail upwards. It's worked before in this league.
Oh, boy. We got a good show for you guys tonight. We are going to kick it off with Power Rank Monday, as we always do. We're going with the players that look the weirdest. So Cleveland players, or your favorite players, that look the weirdest in new teams' uniforms.
Yeah, that's good.
Thanks, Mets. We will then talk.
You know what immediately
What's
came
that?
to mind
What's that?
when I heard this? It wasn't a Cleveland thing, but like the first one that I can remember as a kid was Joe Montana going to Kansas City.
Oh, yeah.
That just doesn't seem right. It just did not seem right at the time, and it's still kind of weird to look back on that. And of course, then the Michael Jordan Wizard years. Heck, Michael Jordan White Sox.
Baseball.
Yeah, baseball. That was a little weird. I think that would be the winner.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we'll break all of those down. Get yours in the comments. Top 3 weirdest historical players, Cleveland players in new uniforms. Then we'll get into a little Cavs with our featured interview for the week. Cavs sideline reporter Angel Gray. She's fantastic. I'm sure you've seen her on Fox Sports Ohio. I believe she was just interviewing Lindsey Gottlieb, friend of the show, right, Nick?
Yeah, last night
Yeah.
during the Cavs game, halftime, Angel Gray and Lindsey, some
Awesome.
big play, good karma. Yeah.
That's right. And then
They're
after.
the highlight of every single game now. Angel Gray is for reporting.
That is true. We will then follow that up with a breakdown of Cleveland headlines, Browns free agency, would you rather. Spring training is underway. We'll get some optimism going with our Cleveland Indians. We will try to. And then we will wrap it up with the best and worst tweets of the week. Let's kick it off with some Power Rank Monday.
It's time for Power Rank Monday.
All right, so yesterday pictures came out of Francisco Lindor in his new Mets uniform. Made us all want to throw up. Looks super strange after years of wearing Indians gear. Although, to be fair, he wouldn't have been wearing Indians gear all that much longer if he stayed. But still a super, super weird look. So we are going to power rank players who look the weirdest in their new uniforms. I will kick it off with my number 3. I'm going to go with Jim Thome, Phillies uniform.
Yeah.
I was in college. He was probably my favorite player growing up from the 90s. Did not think he was going to leave. I had faith in the Indians organization to sign players at that time. Was coming off 52 home runs. I think he was 7th in MVP voting 2 years in a row. Super weird to see him not rocking Chief Wahoo.
And then really not rocking them, wearing a White Sox uniform,
Right?
Twins uniform, then back in the Indians uniform,
Yeah.
which is kind of neat.
Yeah, statue night. I think we were both there, Chris.
We were.
Yeah.
The unveiling of the Jim Thome statue.
That's right.
That was a good night. They had
That was
calls
fun.
with
That was fun.
Tom Hamilton on the video board afterwards. and
Yep.
They had fireworks set to it. I mean, that was a really fun night at the stadium. Actually, they did a good job.
Yeah. My number 2, going basketball, Anderson Varejao in a Golden State uniform. Never in a million years did I think we were going to see that. No chance.
Control move on there.
And then we beat the brakes off of him in the finals.
He never won a ring, did he?
No, we all Dan Gilbert, the
He gave him
kind
one,
of
right?
classy owner he is, did offer Andy a ring, and Andy turned it down.
Oh, he didn't take it?
He didn't take it. No,
Oh, that's
Oh, you
rough.
gotta take. I would have taken it. I think. Would
I
you?
think I would have taken it too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think
You were
gotta
part of the championship team. Yeah, Andy turned it down. Legend has it.
put it on eBay.
Interesting.
I mean, just immediately put it on eBay while you're leaving the court.
I think Andy did all right.
Yeah, I think he's okay.
But that was super weird, especially a Warriors uniform. I mean, he was a staple of some bad teams, some decent teams, and a couple good ones. But yeah, my number 1, sticking with basketball, I got to go with LeBron in the Heat uniform. I remember the decision. Everyone remembers where they were when they watched the initial decision. Went to that first game when he came back against the Heat when everyone was booing him. Super, super weird.
Well, it was before that too. It was like the next night when he was sitting up there, the big 3.
Oh,
When he-
yeah. Not 1, not 2.
And they were all wearing their jerseys. And it's like, wait, what the hell? We
So
didn't even get
weird.
a chance to grieve.
Yeah, not at all. And
You already got this thing set up. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell is going on here?
Did you think he was going to leave? Because I remember watching it. I think I lived in Chicago at the time. I was watching it, and I'm like, there is absolutely no way in hell this guy puts on this production, an hour show on ESPN, to leave Cleveland. There's no way he would do that.
In front of the kids. Too.
Oh.
He invites the kids.
He blamed the kids. He pulled a Ted Cruz. He was like, well, it was for charity. And I was like, no, dude, no.
He used the kids as human shields so he could get out of Cleveland. I mean, that's
Oh, those brutal, God, memories. Let's move on from that. Chris, what's your top 3?
my number 3. Never really got to see it, but Chris Spielman as a Cleveland Brown, as opposed to, being a Buckeye, and then later on, of course, a Detroit Lion for years and years. And then, of course, the Browns signed him to be kind of that guy as we came back in '99. Never made it to the field because of injuries, but just the fact that you still, and I put him on the list here, not so much because we saw him on the field, but because you see those jerseys if you go to games. People are wearing the Chris Spielman jersey all over the place. And it's just so wow, because you think, wait a second, oh yeah, that's right. He was a member of the Cleveland
Not a
Browns.
game.
The original Browns when they came back. My number 2. And this one was because not only did it look weird in these colors and for this team, but also his body looked significantly different than I remember him. And that's Sean Kemp when he got to Cleveland.
Fat
I
Sean
mean, good
Kemp.
Lord, I remember him being part of that high-flying team in Seattle that was just awesome. And you would see highlights. It was like, man, that is badass. He gets to Cleveland. He's a post player, and he's huge. He's just this mass of humanity. And by that time, it fathered about 5 million kids, I think. But it was a different player that we got in Cleveland. So, yes, he looked a lot different in that jersey. Looked kind of weird from the Sean Kemp you've seen on posters hanging up on the wall of your room as a kid.
Yeah, a little different. That is a good one.
Rainmaker, baby.
That is a good one. Yes, we didn't get him in his prime years.
No, not so much. My number one. You know, you talked about Jim Thome. I was going to go Jim Thome on my list. I went kind of in the same vein, but to football. Bernie Kosar. Bernie Kosar, of course, famously cut by Bill Belichick, then went on. Dallas, Miami, both of those jerseys. Every once in a while, you'll see those around. I think even our old co-host, Bree, I think she had like a Miami Dolphins Bernie Kosar jersey.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think she's got that in her collection. You don't see it too often, but there's a lot of Cleveland fans that have those in their collection. Just that's what Bernie meant to this fandom. So, yeah, that was always weird to see. And to think that he got a Super Bowl ring. He got a Super Bowl ring. And the fact that we're still sitting here waiting. So,
you guys think we'll
those
ever
are
get to
good.
that point with Baker? Like, what if
Oh,
Baker?
come on.
No.
Oh, in like a good way?
Yeah, in a way nicer. Like, say Baker, you know, wins us a Super Bowl and is our franchise quarterback for a really long time, and then it's just time for him to move on, and he retires, you know, a Cowboy in his home state or a Texan in his home state. You think people would still like? You think that's still a thing? Like, would get Mayfield Texas jerseys?
Oh, I would definitely buy a Cowboys jersey of Baker Mayfield if he won us a Super Bowl and he was playing there when he was like 40.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah,
I Brandon Whedon one in my closet.
A Cowboys one?
yeah, he was on. That's what I thought Chris meant too for a second. I was
That
like,
would be
That was Cowboys
incredible.
Brandon Whedon. That's what I was. Yes, that's what I was alluding to.
Nick, we're going to get to yours, but let's check in with the comments here real quick. Ben Gonzalez, what's up, Ben? He says, Joe Hayden Steelers uniform. That's a really good one. Kev says, Josh Cribbs in an Indianapolis Colts uniform. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Wow, that's a good one, Kev. Nice work.
Back in the day, too, because I was thinking about Reggie Langhorne when he went to the Colts.
Yep.
You had like Webster Slaughter going to Houston. Eric Metcalf went to a few teams. I think Atlanta was one of those. I mean, those were odd ones for me, too.
Yeah, Kevin had another one. Victor Martinez, Tigers.
Yeah,
That was super weird. I remember when he cried when he left here. Loved Victor Martinez. Nick, what do you got? Top
All
three.
right. Definitely. Okay, so my number 3. Going back to baseball, this one's super recent. Michael Brantley with the Astros.
Yeah.
Just because of their whole, you know, demeanor and everything after the cheating scandal, to see Michael Brantley, who's like a notorious good guy, beloved here in Cleveland, on a, you know, AL rival in the Astros, and then especially with all that stuff going on, that still to me is a shocker. Every at bat that Dr. Smooth taktakes for the Astros,
Dr. Smooth. Greatest nickname ever.
Yeah, best nickname ever. Okay, number
Big
2.
dude at Andrew Johnson would like a word with you.
All right, I'm going with Chris on an athlete that got here, and he looked a little bit differently than when I remembered, and that is Shaquille O'Neal on the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Witness protection.
Yeah, the witness protection. That was the thing that was going on. How about the witness played defense and then run to half court on offense and then just run back and play defense?
We're gonna
That was
ring for the king.
Oh, I love that Mike Brown would play him like he was Shaq in his prime. Like,
Yeah.
stop doing that.
Yeah, it got ugly quick. Poor Shaq. It was fun.
Love Shaq.
When we got him, I kind of thought I was like still young and hopeful and delusional enough. I thought that was gonna work, but
So did I.
Poor Shaq.
He was kind of like a Kevin Love, too, that was kind of like lingering whether he would come back. Because I went to a couple of games expecting to see Shaq back that season early on. Where he was just not playing because he was injured. And it was like, what's going on with Shaq and his rehab?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna ask Angel Gray about that in just a second here.
Yes,
So
we
my
are.
number 1, Dwayne Wade on the Cavs. I'm a huge Dwayne Wade fan.
That was
Like
weird.
even before, obviously, he came to the Cavs. I'm right in that, you know, age range where D Wade's reign in Miami, even pre-LeBron going to Miami, was like the coolest thing ever. But when he was on the Cavs, it was strange. It was different. I still personally would not have traded him back to Miami in 2018 for the second round pick
Yep.
or whatever it was. I would have tried to make the D Wade thing work here in Cleveland, despite, you know, having just to turn over that roster at the trade deadline when all that went down.
Yeah.
But Dwayne Wade on the Cavs was such a cool thing for me to have one of my favorite players outside of Cleveland on my favorite basketball team, and then for it to just not work at all. Just super disappointing. But D Wade on the Cavs is definitely my weirdest.
That is a good one, Nick. All right, let's keep the basketball going because we are bringing in Cavs sideline reporter Angel Gray joining the show here in 30 seconds. We will be right back. Already on the line, she does it all. She covers college football, basketball for CBS Sports, WNBA reporter, and sideline reporter for our Cleveland Cavaliers. The one and only, one of the best in the business, Miss Angel Gray. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for asking me to come on. I'm really excited. I was seriously hoping the Cavs gave me a win before I joined you guys, but here we are. So I'm pretty sure we'll get into that.
It was funny. We had Sam Amico on last week, and like the Andre Drummond stuff was coming out. And he's like, "Thank God, there's something for me to talk about."
Well, that's one thing, obviously, that they're going through right now. But I just think overall, a team, when you're first with them, and seeing them at the beginning of the season, as you guys have witnessed yourselves, the first 3 games, and you're like, wow, wait a minute. They're even shocking me and playing better quicker than I thought. And, the trajectory was just like insane. But I was most impressed with their ability to say, really buy into the mantra of Coach Bickerstaff being one of the most competitive teams and, one of the most selfless teams. And we saw that drop off. And so one of those things is just like, why did that happen? But when you're looking at it too, and just watching, the pieces that were no longer with the team, they're at the top of the league as far as defense. And that's something that they were hanging their hat on. And JaVale McGee was clogging the paint, and Andre Drummond there. And like opposing teams, it was just almost like a second guess when they were going inside the paint. And this is even before, Jared Allen, came in for the trade, but it was really solidified in that moment of just like, if you're going to get past the guards, you have to second guess if you're going to have to pull up or get to the rim. So I think for this team, they're just trying to figure out what their identity is and waiting for those pieces to get back. Because when you have a Kevin Love, a Matthew Dellavedova out, Larry Nance Jr., who was leading the league in steals, I think he still is at this point, but just being out for 6, weeks is not ideal. And at one point they were playing without their backcourt, where Darius Garland and Colin Sexton and Damian Dotson had to play the point guard. So when you're tossing up all these different things, you can't use them as excuses, but at the same time, you got to figure out how to work around it. And that's where they are right now.
So there's some good things going on. Like you were talking about Jared Allen yesterday. Breaking records. He's in Dikembe Mutombo territory with those stats, which is insane to think about. One of 3 players with those stats. You have some good things going on. Colin Sexton, Darius Garland starting to play a little bit better, but like they're not doing very well right now. So like, what's it like for you as like a sideline reporter when it comes to like, I don't know, like an 0-10 losing streak? Like, how do you ask the questions that you want to ask while still trying to be optimistic and kind of talking to those players? Like, it seems kind of tough to do.
It is tough, because you don't want to ask the same question, but you're put in a position where you still have to figure out why you got the results you got. And the fans want to know that too. So I have to be honest, for them as well. But you do have to also highlight those silver linings for this team too. When this team has everyone available, it's a different looking team. Coach Bickerstaff said that last night as well. Can you imagine if you get a Kevin Love back and how he, is a rebounder. He facilitates. He just makes everyone better. Like he's a champion, his ability to stretch the floor. And then also Larry Nance, when you get him back, what he does for the team. So it's just really tapping into, okay, for the pieces that you have now, how do you establish that you can't become deflated? You have to find ways to get better, so when those pieces come back, you're even better. You mentioned Jared Allen. He's probably been one of my favorite players to this point to cover. There are obviously other stories that have been outstanding, but just with, Jared and how he's been consistent, he's Mr. Reliable. And just being a former athlete, those are the type of players you want to be around and play with, because they don't try and play outside of themselves. Like, where they're going to be, how they're trying to get to their buckets, how they're trying to make everyone better. He's screening at the top of the key. He's rolling to the basket. He's finding different ways to make the team better. It's just now finding that consistency, with everyone else. So I think that's where this team is right now. And just asking them those questions, how do you get better from beyond the three? Is there something that you want to change in your offense as well? Where can you get better defensively, knowing that a couple of your pieces are no longer there? You're asking those questions because it's presented in the games, right? Yeah. So at the end of the day, my role is a bit different, sideline.
Oh, yeah.
Just being here for 3 years. The first 2 years, I was actually on the sideline. Now I'm like in, the top deck, watching with binoculars, trying to figure out what everyone is talking about down on the floor, because with COVID, it's just a little bit different. So, I want to be able to talk the game just like everybody else, but it's about building those relationships and understanding where they're coming from. A lot of these guys, I have not met one-on-one with yet. Like, I just
That's
have
so
not
weird.
been able to see them. So it's different for me in my role.
What's the year been like? It's such a weird year, like especially for your job. Like, is it way harder that way? I would assume it's got to be, because you're not like interacting with anyone.
Well, you're immediately like, oh crap, are they gonna ask me to come back? That's the number one question, first off. Because
yeah, right. Yeah,
it's like, okay, my job title literally says sideline, and when you were taking off the sideline, you're like, whew, this could be difficult. But I think overall, like, I just love the game. So you're going to find a way to share those stories. And those stories are still there, especially coming off of a year where, they did not get invited to the bubble. What were they working out on, in their own small bubble? Who improved? What are the new faces? How are they going to, improve even from last year? Those stories are still there, and they're waiting for people. The fans are waiting for, people to share it. So that's where I have the value. And I take a lot of pride in the relationships that I've built, not just with this team, with the, the staff, the front office, those guys. Like, I just hope that they understand, everything that I'm trying to do as far as sharing those stories, especially when you aren't, in a bubble. A lot of those players were able to voice their, passions and ideas about things that were even going on, off the court. And so those stories are still there, for this season. So that's where it's just been, fun for me still, because I'm not trying to break down, what just landed on Mars, or, if, we're going to Saturn or anything like that. I get to talk sports, and that's something I've always been around. So I consider myself still lucky to be doing what I love to do.
That's awesome. You're crushing it.
Well, thank you. I'm trying. It's fun. Like, I was just telling one of my mentees, she got the sideline job for the LA Dodgers. And as I'm talking to her, she's like, I'm nervous. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I was like, I think I'm preaching to myself too, but don't take yourself too serious. I think sometimes I just get too serious, and it's just like, you have to realize that usually when people are watching these games, they're probably at a bar, they're probably, on their couch watching with friends or whatever. And they want to be entertained. They want to, know what's going on. They want to, feel your personality too. And hopefully people are starting to see, I'm just a chill girl that loves basketball and, is excited about the opportunity that she has.
Definitely. Angel, something that happened earlier this season was JB said that he wanted to bring the whole grit and grind mentality from Memphis to Cleveland. And it was, a philosophy that's so like defensive oriented and scrappy oriented. I think he even said like he wanted teams to dread playing Cleveland on a nightly basis. And that's how it was at the beginning of the year. Obviously the injuries and stuff like that you talked about. How do you think he tries to get us back to that point in this second half here?
There has to be a belief. I think, as I mentioned before, when you're seeing those L's pile up, you're like, whew, Is it working? Is this really the way that we want to go? But he said it from the very beginning, even when they were winning. I want to know who this team is when adversity hits. I want to know who this team is when, our backs are against the wall. And so for them, it's just an understanding of how are we preparing each day. And it can't be with a mindset of that we've already won. And I think for this team too, there was a wake-up call. I think the wake-up call was mainly against Boston. It's just like, okay, we can't feel ourselves. We just came off of 2 big wins for the Nets, but they can't stray away from their identity, which is it has to be together. Jared Allen said it last night. He said, we are not a team that is the most talented team in the league. We have to win understanding we have to do the little things. We have to make sure we share the ball on the offensive end. We have to dive on the floor. We have to be in the passing lanes with deflections and so on and so on and so on. So that's not just a one-person thing, right? That has to be something where everybody's working together, and that is the grit. That is the grind. That's why they had the number 1 defensive, offense or defensive rating because of that, because of, how Larry was communicating and saying, this is what the standard is going to be. And so I know that they've dealt with their own, adversity with injuries and whatnot and piling up. But at the end of the day, that doesn't take away your competitiveness. That can't take away your mindset of how do we scrap every single night. And I think that's what Coach Bickerstaff is pleading from his team. And the team will tell you that too. They're like, look, they're setting us and putting us in positions to win. We just have to execute it. And that comes down to how they're starting to grow and build the chemistry too, especially with the lineups that have been changing throughout the season, with the lack of bodies that have been available, but they have to figure things out because as Coach Bickerstaff said the other night, no one's going to save us. We have to figure this out by ourselves and understand we have to do it together. So hopefully, they have a couple more games here for their homestand. They can get things back on track.
For sure.
Angel, we have a live question for you from, I think, a super fan of yours, Rafa. He goes, can she make an old fashioned?
Yeah, you know what? It's a great question, Rafa. You're the best. So Rafa and I just did this event with the Cavs where Bacardi Ocho, they had their new reserve rum out and they had an Angel's Envy. I honestly just asked Rafa if I could be a part of, the party because I wanted the Angel's Envy for obvious reasons. But yeah, because of that, I got to co-host with him and we made old fashions, which were amazing. So I consider myself an amazing mixologist. Is that what
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. When this whole thing is over party, we're drinks on me.
Love it.
Yeah, perfect. A big piece to the puzzle that you were just talking about, Angel, is Kevin Love, who had a really, tough start to this season with this calf injury that seems to just keep lingering forward. What's the latest that you've heard about him, and how much of an impact do you think he's going to have on the young core when he finally does return?
Well, the good news is that he's actually been able to practice with the team. And so the reports that we're getting is that he's moving in the right direction. Like the trajectory is going the way that the Cavs want it. So that's the good news. But obviously it's, as he progresses, we get the updates. So we're just hoping that he continues to progress in the right direction because man, oh man, with him being able to go through a couple of the practices and talking to the guys, they were like, you can immediately feel his impact. You can immediately feel how he's just the IQ of him and where people need to be. And you've seen it for yourself, like how he facilitates and just being one of those forward passers, a lot like Larry, who can just find people who are cutting. This team needs that. We need people that understand how to make everyone else better as well as finding their own shot and just being that offensive juggernaut almost in a sense where the defender has to figure out what you are doing. So he can extend the floor from the 3, obviously, and he's always been that person. But I thought it was really funny with us asking Coach Bickerstaff, like, what's the update? He said, well, he didn't practice today, but he's still talking crap. He's still Kevin. And, when we can get him back, that'll be good news. But I'm crossing my fingers that we do continue to get good updates for him because I would love to see him on the floor sooner than later.
Oh, definitely. Just the floor spacing itself, that's something really that Cavs fans are kind of sleep to. I hope that, when he comes back, that floor spacing is kind of back to what it was. on the movement front, I guess Andre Drummond is the latest. We talked with Sam Amico about that last week. He's going to be sat, as we know, until a trade is found or until a buyout happens. What's the latest that you've heard on Andre, and what do you think a trade package could look like, since the Cavs now have a ton of bigs and a little bit of a need at guard, which is something that was unexpected last year?
True. I mean, first off, it is tough, for anyone seeing him there, and especially for the team. They're like, but he's handling it with such grace, and just, this is where you see the business of the league. Like, for me, I'm just like coming over from like college, and I'm like, this is exciting. You think everyone's here for like 3-4 years, and you're like, oh, it's the business behind this. So honestly, this is where Kobe and the front office have always done a good job in like handling any potential trades, etc. They make moves, whether it's like now or later, that translate into better positioning for the team moving forward, especially for if they have the valuable assets leading to that. So sometimes the benefits come immediately, and sometimes they come down the road, as we've seen, but sometimes it's a combination. So we've seen it time and time again, but the goal is to continue to move forward. We've seen how this team is moving younger, and we saw with Jared Allen, and I think overall they just understand it's going to be a journey. It's going to be a process. So whatever they decide, I just understand and hope that it's just for the overall team, whether it be youth or veteran, whatever it may be, is that we can get back to a team that the fans deserve to see. And I know everyone wants to hear that playoff bell one more time. So hopefully moving forward that we can get something from that overall. And then also best of luck to Andre Drummond. I know that he has a relationship with Kobe Altman too, especially with their USA basketball that they had their relationship with, which is a very actually interesting story. But I know he has his best interests at heart, and they've always had a great communication just about what they want to do for their career. So I think just overall knowing that relationship too, I'm just hoping for the best.
You mentioned the fans. What's it like at games right now with 2,700 fans there in the stands scattered about? Obviously, it's a completely different atmosphere, but describe what it's like for those that haven't made it down there for a game this year to cover the team when you've got just that lack of energy, I would assume.
So it's so different, and it's from when you're just in the tunnels, honestly, you're set up like it's just like an experience. So from previous years, you're in the back and you're just getting everything done. You're talking to the coaches, you're, trying to get your production meeting going. And then right when you walk through that tunnel, you understand that it's almost like a gladiator format where the fans are going to be there. They're cheering. They're the best. I got chills a couple of times, regardless of what their record was, where just the fans were so engaged that I was like, I don't even know if I'm working anymore. I just feel like I need to cheer too. I miss that. I think it's really cool that, everyone at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in the front office has been able to work, and even with the governor and, officials for the state have worked out something where fans can actually be there, but it's not quite the same. Yeah, I mean, you can't think it could be the same, but I'll tell you this, it's awesome when even a player like JaVale McGee, he'll come out of the tunnel, and before he does this weird thing where he waves, and at first there was no one in the stands. So he comes out, he waves to everybody, and I was like, well, that's awkward, but that's just JaVale. And then now that you have a couple of players, a couple of people in the stands, and he comes out and he waves, and it's like, well, like, it doesn't look as crazy now. So it's really cool. Like, I'm right in that, media section, so I'm amongst the fans too. And so just hearing them, hey, good job here, or, we got this one, or just seeing the energy from the fans is something I'll never get over, whether it's, 10,000 or if it's, just 200 or 2,000. So hopefully we continue to work our way through this pandemic, because covering games without the fans is definitely hard, but hopefully we, get them back sooner than later.
Some of the fans that weren't there this past week were back at home participating in one of the time-honored traditions of me versus Nuggets, and I know that you're well versed to now. And one of those was Larry Nance, who's actually been a fan of it for going back to when he was in high school and like a kid around the Akron area. So what is your impression of me versus Nuggets, first of all? And secondly, Larry Nance gave it a try. He didn't get too far. I think in the third quarter, he put up the white flag on it. Is there another Cav that could give him a better run? I know when Denver's out there scoring like 130 points, it's going to be tough for anybody to eat that many Nuggets. But is there somebody else on the team who might be able to give him a run for his money?
Oh, okay. Anybody else? It's so very interesting. I think Darius Garland would be one of those guys. I know he's tiny, but he came in a little chubby. So you never know. He might be one of those guys that's like, I am risking it all for the Nuggets. And then too, can we establish, like, does it have to be McDonald's? Like, I had to do my research for this. And I was like, if I'm going to pick a chicken nugget, I'm going to pick the one that has the best protein and caloric count. But
that's the official nugget. That's the accredited nugget, or the official licensed nugget of Me vs. Nuggets.
All right,
the McDonald's.
Cool.
It was the brainchild of
a hit on it for pregame for Denver. Their sideline, Katie Wingy, was like, I need to know more about this Me versus Nuggets. And I was like, basically, Cavs fans have to eat one more nugget than overall points that you guys score. So it was very interesting. And I told her, well, good luck, because in that fourth quarter, Jamal Murray, you all know the story.
How many did she end up eating? Because she actually participated this last
I think
Friday.
passed out. So I'm not sure if she knows. I'm pretty sure. I may have to check on her. She may be in the hospital. I think she texts back, so I'm gonna check and see if there's anything trending. No, I think she pretty much gave up. I saw like maybe 4 or 5 boxes that were empty. They were Chick-fil-A nuggets, so I'm pretty sure she's in a good place.
That's a way to do it, is Chick-fil-A nuggets. They're a little smaller.
Yeah, very compact. They just taste like just like a blessed chicken. Just perfect.
The other thing you got March coming up right around the corner. It's amazing to even think about that right now. And March Madness. You made it to an Elite Eight as a player at Florida State. What is it about March Madness? Can you kind of share a little bit of your experience? What makes it so special? What was your experience like?
You make me go back to these glory days and I just get teary-eyed.
That's what this is for. That's what this is for. Feel free.
So it's something I will never, ever forget. And when you say March Madness, it literally is, my favorite part of it is the madness. You don't know who the Cinderella team is. Everyone has this like clean slate of, the single elimination game, like anybody can be taken down and it's anybody's game. Whoever's on, everyone doesn't have like a, Loyola person like right there with them, to pray them to victory. But it's very interesting because I just remember every single day showing up like, we got this. From us flying on the charter, landing, seeing the bracket, even building up to it. Like when you are actually together and seeing where your name lands and who you're playing, you're like, let's get it, And so it's just so much fun. You have a couple of days to prepare, you fly out. Hopefully you win the game. And then my favorite part, and I kind of compare it to what the guys had in the bubble for the first couple of games. We saw the playing game, and how awesome was that, right? It gave me a vibe of March Madness because, you're literally, if you win this game, you go on. And so I thought it was really cool, just for me and my experience, getting there, saying we were going to do it and accomplishing something. I think my first year too, we got to the Sweet 16 and beat Stanford. We were the underdog. I don't even know how we made it, honestly. And I just remember being at Stanford, and that's why I guess even for the Cavs, even for the city of Cleveland, that identity and that grind and that like, we're going to, fight tooth and nail underdog. And be on the floor to just win. We have no one is betting on us. So we got to figure it out. And I remember when that final horn went down, and I was actually on the sideline because I tore my ACL. But I remember when that final buzzer went off and we just went middle court and started like rolling on the ground, and people were like, what are they doing? But our mantra was get dirty. We got to find a way to get dirty. And my Elite Eight year, we lost to UConn by a lot, but we did it. Who doesn't lose to UConn, whatever. So,
true.
I thought that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
So you got any predictions for the men's side and the women's side of the brackets?
What? half my time I'm watching NBA League
Right.
Pass, but
Of course,
but the
naturally,
times
right? So of course we're going to ask you about NCAA.
yeah, of course. So I'm like, that blame it. All right, let me do some research. But you know what? In that, I obviously am hoping for Florida State to figure things out this year. That's
There you
obvious and obvious. I think they're 11 right now, and I probably get thrown out of Ohio if I don't mention where they are. They're doing pretty good too. I think they're number 4, top 5 right now, 3rd in the Big Ten. I know they had a upset the other night, which is very interesting. But I am a big fan of Juwan Howard and everything that he's doing at Michigan too. Gonzaga just finds a way to figure things out. Like, that's just the team. And if you're thinking about like sleepers, even I say keep your eye out on like Creighton, and then Loyola Chicago has been pretty impressive too. I don't know if you guys have watched much of them, but honestly, I just hope that for the guys that graduated or have ties on our team to any of these teams that are at the top, make it so I can talk about it and so we can have a conversation.
Gives you sideline fodder right there.
Yeah, we're like, all right, great. We got predictions. We can, have some type of, March Madness party. And then FSU, I got to give them a shout out too. They're not in the top 25 right now, which kind of breaks my heart. But they did have a big win over Louisville the other night, which was pretty impressive. They're top 3. And UConn, and especially with Paige Buchers and everything she's doing, she's just ridiculous. But if anyone takes it, I would say I'm rooting for, if Florida State doesn't shock the world, I'm rooting for South Carolina. I'm a big fan of Dawn Staley. She recruited me when I was coming out of out of high school. And I just believe in her journey and her process and everything that she's done, right there in South Carolina. So that's my prediction. Is that a prediction or is that just my thought? So I'm thinking it might be.
We're writing them down. Yeah.
This is fabulous.
It's just like, Angel, what?
Pulling out my bracket mentally as you're going through this.
I am too. I'm making mental notes.
So yeah, like definitely for the men. I'll throw Ohio. I think Sweet 16 for sure. With Ohio State, they've been impressive.
Okay.
Nice.
Baylor would be a good nod too. I think their men and women are like top 10, which is pretty dope. But then also Torian Prince went to Baylor, so that's also another win for me.
There you go.
Alabama, you hope they're cruising up there. You got the Colin Sexton Act. Cool. FSU, let's just figure things out. For the women, I think UConn, NC State, I feel like Stanford figures things out, and then South Carolina. They're just really, really tough. I think in that range, it'll be top 4, but UConn, I think they'll get there, but they won't win it all. So I'm betting on South Carolina right now.
That is fantastic. That was way more information than I thought we would get out of you for early predictions for March Madness. You're our new bracketologist. We're bringing you back on in a month.
Gotcha. For sure.
That's fantastic stuff. Everyone go follow her on Twitter at Angel_Gray1. She does a phenomenal job. You've all seen her on TV. Angel, keep it up, and we're glad to have you in Cleveland.
Thank you so much. That means the world to me. And thank you guys for welcoming me with open arms. And for all those that actually helped me figure out what snow boots were, I appreciate it. You're the real MVP in Cleveland.
Angel Gray, everyone. Round of applause. Thank you for the time. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Angel.
Oh, that was awesome.
Is that applause you got going there? That sounds like water.
Sounds like water?
Yeah, it sounded like water.
Get new headphones, Chris.
Wow, I do. I need new cans.
What?
In the business. Cans, right?
We'll check the tape and see if we need new applause. Check the tape.
Interesting.
That came loud and clear. Let's move on to some Cleveland headlines. Angel Gray, thanks for the time. That was fantastic.
That's great.
Yeah, she's
we got everything.
Oh yeah, definitely one of the best in the biz. I'm surprised no national people have scooped her up yet. So we are lucky here in Cleveland.
Got to keep her in Cleveland.
That's right.
They like to get our Cavs.
They do. Yeah.
We populate the league and we populate sports from our sideline reporters.
Yeah. All right, Nick. No promo clips of Angel Gray. We don't want to lose it.
Got it.
All right, let's get into some Cleveland headlines. All right, let's switch gears. Let's talk a little Indians. It's been tough to talk Indians, but
Goody gumdrop.
first full squad workout today. We're getting back to some sports outside of just the Cavs. So we could talk about how weird it is to see Frankie on another team. Let's go positive. We've had enough of that. Nick, which one of these new guys are you excited to see in action? Because you review the list, there's actually a couple decent names to watch this year for the Cleveland Indians.
Bobby Bradley. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
The assassin. Down
Yeah.
35 pounds. He's ready. He's mean. He's hungry. He's ready. Watch out, Cleveland. This is a new and improved Bobby Bradley.
I love how the leading into spring training, Chris, like I feel like every year we're talking about like, Reyes lost 20 pounds this year. This is,
Yeah, that is the thing.
it's
every
like the
year.
thing that
Weight Watchers.
we talk about for 3 weeks. Yeah, we need a Weight Watchers sponsorship for like late March or late February to like mid-March.
Yeah, it really only needs to be one show. It happens like
That's
once
true.
a year.
right.
Which Indians outfielder lost a ton of weight?
Yeah.
Well, it was a lot easier. It was a lot more fun. We had Kipnis around because then how much weight did Kipnis gain?
Oh.
Kipnis could eat a ton of Chipotle burritos. I remember that. He used to eat like at least 2 at a time.
There were always a few
That's
pictures
disgusting.
that came out during spring training at Kipnis where it's like, oh my God, somebody didn't do their off-season regimen.
I love Kip.
He does not like me. But
No,
I
he
like
does not. Nick, who are you looking forward to?
I guess I have to go with Eddie Rosario, right? I mean, the pitching staff, some of the members of the pitching staff were joking around this week when they met with the media and just said the guy has been an absolute nightmare for this organization for the last how many years. So what do? You bring that guy to your team.
Yep.
We know what he's capable of, at least 24 home runs in his last 3 full seasons. I wouldn't expect that much of a dip off from that number because the guy is going to be playing in the same division, in the same ballparks that he's used to.
Yeah.
So as much as I am looking forward to see some of the younger pieces, I'm just more excited to see Rosario in a Tribe uniform because he has literally just tormented us for all these years.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, and I'm crossing my fingers on this one, Emmanuel Clase, because he had the steroids, and it wasn't like the little steroids. It was like the big horse steroids, like HGH.
Eh.
I'm curious to see what that 101-mile splitter curve fastball that he's got going on over there.
He probably looks like me and could get it up to 53 or something like that.
So no faith, Nick, huh?
No.
Nah, all right.
And we brought back Brian Shaw, so.
Oh, my
no.
God. All right, let's move on. Speaking of the Tribe, anyone on this roster you think might have a bounce-back year from last year?
The 2 big bats, right? I'm looking forward to Josh Naylor and Franmil Reyes. Should be batting right in the middle. Tribe fans have jonesed since the 2016 World Series run. And then ultimately when we signed Edwin Encarnacion, where's that big bat in the middle of the lineup to get some of these Frankie Lindor's RIP, Jose Ramirez's back into home, and we brought back Cesar Hernandez to fill some of that void. I'm definitely looking forward to see some home runs out of Josh Naylor, Franmil Reyes as the season goes on because we need those guys to step up in the outfield.
Speaking of the outfield, Oscar Mercado, like we had the highest expectations for him from 2 years ago going into last season. He batted a $128 last season, rookie year almost 270. Rough year for Oscar. I think he's going to get back on track. We give him a spot. I mean, that outfield is completely open. If he can start hitting just a
Guys we
little
got.
bit.
I saw a list today. We got like 10 guys competing for 3 spots. Right?
Oh, it's like a whole line out the door. It's like open tryouts for the outfield for the Cleveland Indians. It's wild.
Yeah. That's not usually a good sign.
No, it reminds me of like Major League
a
of
baseball
Willie
analyst.
Mays Hayes, like getting out of the car and running in his pajamas onto the field. But Oscar Mercado, I'm hoping he has a big year. And Chris,
How about Tito coming
yeah,
back?
that's a good one.
Yeah.
That'll be good. I hope all's well with him. I hope he gets back and a sense of normalcy there around the clubhouse. He's obviously such a big part of what the Indians do. on and off the field. That it'll be nice to have him back, hopefully, and rolling again. And good for him, good for his family.
Yeah, good call. Let's switch gears. Let's talk some Browns because the rumor mill is still in full effect. Broncos and Von Miller apparently parting ways. So Browns obviously were looking for a big pass rusher in this free agency class. Nick, who would you rather have, J.J. Watt or Von Miller?
I'm sticking with J.J. Watt.
Really?
Solely because of the double team thing that we saw last year. That's my biggest thing. You know, I hate just box score, or, you know, what is that called? Box score watching these guys, you know,
Yeah.
Von Miller, you know, the better stats. So JJ only had 5 sacks last year. Well, that's because JJ Watt was literally getting double teamed more times than Myles Garrett, who we know here locally gets double teamed a ton.
If not triple teams.
Yeah, triple teamed at times. So imagine what that JJ Watt addition can do. JJ also played in a 3-4 scheme, which is a little different than what Joe Woods does. So without getting too technical, I think there could be times where you could just line up JJ Watt right next to Myles Garrett. And what a force that would be. You just pick your poison on that side, right? So I'm going to stick with J.J. Watt. Obviously, Von Miller would be a very nice compensation prize. We know the connections are there. He's cool with Baker. He's very close with Miles and Odell. I could see that shaking out if the Denver thing goes south, but I'm sticking with J.J. Watt. You got to keep your hopes high and just go after the proven dude. As if Von Miller didn't win a Super Bowl MVP, but
right, yeah. I mean, Von Miller is a good NFL player. I mean, I know he's injured last year, but I mean, we talk about the linebacking core needing some help. He might help us. How about we
he's
sign?
not going to drop in coverage though.
No, but we have to get after the quarterback, and you got to bring in multiple guys who can do that. I'm with you. I'd rather have J.J. Watt and keep them all up front and get some quicker linebackers in coverage with our system. But Von Miller, man.
Oh, it'd be an awesome consolation.
How about 1-year deal for Von Miller, 2-year deal for J.J. Watt, and then we can clear up time. Why not
Let's
both?
go.
Insert the meme.
We got all kinds of cap space.
Yeah.
Spending like a drunken sailor out there in the free agency.
Yeah. All right, let's quickly talk Cavs. We already talked with Angel, but I just want to know, what are you guys hoping for in the second half? Hopefully after we get a win on our belt here. What are you hoping for? What do you want to see?
Well, consider I haven't seen many games this year. I've been listening.
You want to be able to see.
It'd be nice to get a couple of games that I could actually see between my subscriptions to NBA and YouTube and all the others that the Cavs are not on. It's been nice to listen to them on the radio, but I'd really like to see the team. That would be cool.
Nick?
I want Cade Cunningham.
Ah.
Yeah, 18-year-old that's at Oklahoma State right now. I'm ready to pull for some ping pong balls again. I think it's just to that point. Your highest paid player is sitting out with a calf injury that appears to be career ending, and your second highest player is sitting on the bench waiting to get traded. So Cade Cunningham, here we come.
There we go. We haven't been super lucky with the ping pong lately, so
we're due.
We're due. All right, draft positioning. Here we go. Let's go, JB. See how that pans out. I do like JB though. I don't want to lose him. I don't want to lose JB, so we got to be careful there. We want positive team chemistry with the number 1 pick.
Same with Kobe. Like, I'm not ready to just fire Kobe yet.
Right.
Like, what has he done? Nothing. It's not his fault that the ping pong balls got you the 8th pick and then the 5th pick twice.
Yeah.
I'm sure if he got Zion Williamson in a position to draft him, he would have liked to do that. Let's take it a little easy on these guys.
That's true. All right, best and worst tweets, and then we'll get out of here. No. Oh, no, we're going to do baseball cards. Let's do best and worst, and then we'll do baseball cards. Okay. We'll do these real quick.
Heating intro music.
Right. All right, I am going with J.J. Watt. Hopefully, just good karma to bring J.J. Watt here. But I like this tweet as a dad. I felt this one. I scroll through DoorDash for like an hour before I pick a restaurant, man. You're going to have to give me a second to choose a new team and city.
That was good.
Yeah, after someone says, you want to sign somewhere or nah? Yeah, I feel that Sometimes I'll take about 2 hours on Uber Eats or DoorDash.
I always wondered what it's like to be that kid, whoever tweeted that at him. Who's
Yeah.
got like 200
And then he
followers.
gets quote tweeted by JJ Watt.
Who tweeted it just blows up. That's more than he's going to see probably for the rest of his life right there in one tweet. It's just amazing. Those are always cool. So
Guys, I have a confession.
What's your confession, Nick?
that's your burner account?
No, I've never ordered DoorDash or Uber Eats.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, isn't that kind of weird? Never.
I do like at least twice a week.
Yeah, a lot of people do now. I
What-
just
Do you go places or do you cook?
I mean, I don't cook, but I go places that's
So,
like one of my hobbies.
Nick, how many Hot Pockets have you eaten this week?
None. Those burn the roof of my mouth.
That's
ramen?
true.
Ramen noodles.
Yeah, ramen noodles staple, of course. Yeah, you know how LeBron had like that fish and meat diet? That mine is just ramen noodles and cosmic brownies. Yeah, I've just never done it. I need to do it. Like,
Basically the same diet.
yeah, I just don't mind like if I want Wendy's, I don't mind just going through the drive-through. Like I like just the getting out of the house, get in the car, listen to some music or something to drive there.
Getting
I don't
all
know, maybe I'm
social,
crazy.
going through the Wendy's drive-through. Let's go.
Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know.
You are crazy. I love DoorDash, Uber Eats, all of them. Grubhub, I have them all on my phone. Nick, the food shows up at your door. You don't have to do anything. You have a hot meal at your door. Like, I will continue to do this after COVID. It's incredible.
But don't you feel? I mean, you got to do the tip thing. and
No,
give them a
it's
couple-
way too expensive.
Yeah, and so I was like, man, my lazy butt can go drive through Wendy's.
That's where I'm at too. Like I don't
Yeah,
have. Like,
I've never
this-
done fast food.
Okay, that's fair. And Dave, we're also in like different spots. Like you have a family and kids that
Yeah,
need like
dude, come
attended to.
come
throughout the day.
babysit, and then I'll do this Nick Padone life of these drive-throughs.
Yeah, where I'm just like sitting around bored. Like, yeah, I'll go get myself Wendy's. Like, I don't need someone else that's bored to go get my Wendy's. I'm bored. I will go get my own food.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
That's
just
good.
thought that was different.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, we have plenty of good options here in Cleveland, Ohio, JJ Watt. So come check them out, and we will share all of them with you. Chris, worst tweet of the week.
We've also got plenty of options for worst tweet of the week. I am going to go with, though, Jose Reyes. This swag is built for New York. The picture of Francisco Lindor in the New York Mets uniform, which I'm just not going to get over. We touched on it earlier.
It's disgusting.
It is bad news. And unfortunately, we're going to be seeing a lot of that, especially with him being in New York. You're going to be seeing that all season long.
The MLB loves it.
And
They
then
love it.
how about Francisco Lindor coming out today and saying he didn't really work that hard the second half of last year? Did you guys see that?
I saw it. I don't know. I don't blame him all that much.
I don't either.
I don't either.
It's like,
That's so sad that we don't blame him for that. Like
Yeah, it's
a
just-
player
if-
saying like, "Oh, I didn't work out that hard. I knew I was leaving."
yeah.
Dave, if I knew you were gonna fire me in like 6 months, I'd mail it in. I got to be honest. I'd mail it in.
Should we tell him, Dave? Should we tell him?
That's fair. That's fair.
You know what else is fair?
Let's go. Turn it up.
Or foul. Either way, fair or foul. I've got two packs. They're the same pack, so it doesn't matter. Do you want the right or do you want the left? They are both 1990 score baseball.
I've been on a cold streak. I'm gonna go left.
So my left or your left?
My left. You're right.
Oh, we got to make this confusing, don't we? All right, getting right into it. Eric King, Chicago White Sox. Tom Foley, Expos. Not starting off well here, Dave. Greg Minton from the Angels. Atlee Hammaker. Jerome Walton of the Cubs. Felix Jose from the A's. Brett Maine. Cal Daniels from the Dodgers.
Jeez.
Dickie Thong from the Phillies.
What?
Mike
Dickie
Jeff-
Thong?
Dickie Thong.
No. What? All right, dude. I got one.
Tweet that at Ravel.
He played for a long time, too. He came into the league, it looks like, in 1979. He's a shortstop. He's got a really 80s mustache, too.
Imagine if he
Nice.
would have came into the league 10 years sooner.
Ernie Witt. Here you go. Lenny Dykstra.
Yes.
Lenny Dykstra. Lenny Baseball. Les Lancaster. Matt Marullo. Sean Holman. And Kevin Apier. Kevin Apier.
All right, we're definitely going with Dickie Thong. Was that it? Dickie Thong?
Yes, Dickie Thong.
Dickie Thong and Lenny Dykstra.
Lenny Dykstra. The All Phillies team. All right, so let's see what I got.
Not looking good.
All Phillies. Well, look at this. Some left fielder from the Pirates by the name of Barry Bonds.
Oh, all right. It's over.
Put that up against Dickie Thong.
Yeah.
Ricky Jordan from the Phillies. Phil Bradley. Jody Davis. Devin White. Dennis Powell. Oh, a guy by the name of Tony Gwynn.
Oh, my God.
Mookie Wilson. Kirk McCaskill. Carmelo Martinez. Jim Gatner. Tony Aramis. Bill Schrader. Mike Flowers. Hensley Mullins. Ed Whiten. So I'm going to go with a guy by the name of Barry Bonds. In fact, I'll just have him go solo against your team.
Did you say Tony Gwynn?
Yeah, I'll put Tony Gwynn in there too. What the
That's
heck?
a good pack right there.
2 Hall of Famers right there, folks. 2 Hall of Famers, Barry Bonds and Tony Gwynn.
Man, I'm 0 for 3 last 3 weeks picking. Stop. You just got to pick for me, Nick, or you can pick for me, Nick.
So, Nick, who are you going to award this one to?
Dickie Thong.
Give me Chris.
Oh, come
Give me Chris
on.
in this one.
Barry Bonds and Tony Gwynn. That may be the best pack.
That's our best pack yet.
I think so far. I'm going to put that over here.
As you guys were doing that, the great co-host that I try to be on this show, I Googled Dickie Thong to see what is he up to these days.
Why
how
did
could
you
we
do
get him
that?
on our airwaves? And
What came up?
yeah, the fine people at Google search engine optimization department. I have a complaint to put in because this guy that I was looking for did not come up.
Really? Did you spell it right?
Nick, what came up?
How do you say? I found a baseball player from the 30s.
Dickiethon. Does he not exist? He only exists in this pack of cards.
Oh, it's Dickie Thon.
Thon? Yeah.
Oh,
I added it. Yeah. Now you know.
I think it was Thong.
yeah, you said Thong.
Yeah.
Thon.
That's why I thought his name was so funny. No, now he
Right?
came right up.
Thong.
Yeah, now I found him.
With the
Maybe
G.
we'll have him on next week.
There we go. Dickie Thong.
15-year career.
I told you he was around for a long time, and for me to never heard of him.
Wow.
amazing.
We're showing no respect for Dickie Thong.
He'll be on with us next week.
Does he
That's
have
right.
a Twitter account?
Kev in the
Haven't even
comments
made it.
put a Wikipedia Dickie Thon in the live comments for us. What a guy.
Nice.
Kev, you are the man. Appreciate you.
That's awesome.
And Kev says, what about grocery delivery? Nick, ever done grocery delivery?
No, never done grocery delivery. Dickie Thon doesn't have a Twitter. The night is just crumbling.
It's
before
over.
me.
Let's end it.
Does he have an
Whole
Instagram?
Foods, you can get it from Whole Foods.
I love delivered groceries.
Yeah, you can get it delivered from Whole Foods.
Yeah, Instacart.
In
And then
this
I sneak on my wife's Instacart account and add like cheddar sour cream chips and ice cream right before they start shopping.
30 pack.
And
of
she's
Busch
like,
Light.
"What is this?"
They're like, you ordered 4 cases of Busch Light. Is that right?
The 30 packs. That's right. All right, good show, everybody. We will see you guys next Monday night. Talk a little bit more Cavs and Tribe, and hopefully maybe a little JJ Watt. We shall see. Huge shout out to ShackNews.com. Go check them out. Some really cool new features for you gamers out there. Go check them out, ShackNews.com. Give them a sub on Twitch at ShackNews. And huge shout out to Angel Gray. Go check her out on Twitter at Angel_Gray1. Go give her some follows. Phenomenal job covering our Cavaliers. And we will see you guys next Monday night at 9 p.m. Have a great week.
Okay, do you need medical attention?
Yeah.
What is wrong?
I don't know. I ain't no goddamn doctor.
Cut that by Chubb.